All righty. So welcome to the KvCore Deep Dive. It's intense. If you guys, we're going to try and take breaks, like I said, every, certain amount of time to every time we finish kind of a section, we'll try and see if we have questions. Zoom people, if you guys can just type in the chat, I'll just check it at that time, but I'll be looking at my KvCore screen, so I won't be able to see the chat. I do have my phone with me, so if somebody on there, if you see it like a crucial question in the chat, if you can text me somebody, that way I can like make sure to look back at it. And let me just go ahead and share my screen. So the worksheet that I had you guys do should look like this. So I wanted to make sure, I know that some people are like super new to EXP, like still waiting for onboarding, which is why I was like, make sure you have KvCore set up. Will make a lot of sense if you don't, but it's okay, again, because we're going to record this and send it out, so at least you can see how it works. But those instructions right there are how to set up KvCore in EXP Enterprise. I don't know why they don't just automatically do it. It is free, it's included. I don't know, they don't explain it very well in the onboarding. Like, okay, make sure you do this, because it takes them a couple days to set it up. But if you need help with that stuff, let me know. So you guys should have written down your login information somewhere on your worksheet, and make sure that your business page is set up. Setting up your Facebook business page is an entirely different conversation. Like we can go like deep into that, but we need to have it set up. Make sure I'm muting all people. Because you're not going to be able to Dave, if I can have you mute, please. For some reason, I can't do it for you. All right. And then we're going to get into doing the profile. So let me go ahead and get on KvCore. So this is KvCore. This is the home screen. Once you log in, mine's already saved, so it just brings you right into the home screen. On the left here is going to be like your different tabs that we can skip to. We're going to literally just go down these piece by piece. Some of you, when you first open this, it might look like that on the side. It might be closed down and you're like, what are all these pictures? This is a very like technology thing. I don't know why tech people think that we can understand pictographs, because we're not cavemen. So click on this 3 little dot or the hamburger menu. It will open it up so you can read the words, so you know what you're looking for. Okay, so I'm going to start over here on the top right. This is going to be basically your settings, your login, your profile stuff. When you click on that drop down screen, it shows you some of these things that we were asking for. This right here is what's called your smart number, your KvCore smart number. Yeah, everyone, when you first registered, you're given a KvCore smart number, but it is the same number as everyone in the Triangle EXP. Okay, I'm going to explain that in just a second, just to make sure I'm admitting everybody into the room. So the way that the smart number works, it is a VoIP number. It's like a Google number. Okay, so like you could use that to have people call you or call out. There's a dialer that we're going to talk through. You can call through the computer. You can use the KvCore mobile app to call through. And obviously then you don't have your phone number going out there. The issue with using the generic Triangle KvCore number is that when a number calls them, if that number is not in your CRM, it's going to go in a round robin to all the EXP agents in the Triangle. So it's a problem to use that KvCore number for outbound marketing where you don't know who's going to call you back. Does that make sense? If you wanted to do what's called a text code, which we're going to get into, you can put it on your listings. I get a lot of leads from listings using text codes. It needs to go on mute. Then it will come to you because you created that text code. So you could use the basic smart number for that purpose. You can buy your own smart number. It's like $29 a month. This is my personalized smart number. So I bought that. It's a Raleigh number so that I can put it on outbound marketing, postcards, those types of things. And it will come because KvCore knows it was my CRM that it came from. You don't have to do that. Like, don't spend, like, I'm all about the free 99. If anybody ever met me when I'm talking about marketing, free 99, I'm all about it. So don't rush into doing this right now. Okay, this is just an option. You can do everything with KvCore without having to do that, because the majority of what you're going to do within KvCore is, if you're going to use it for your CRM, and some people may not know what that means, but that's the customer relation management, and I'm going to go through it. But it's basically where you put all your leads in, you make all your notes, and you can send stuff to them through the system. And then also lead generation. That's the big thing that KvCore can do for you. It's free lead generation, but you got to know how to do it, which we're going to cover today. So all of that can be done without having your own personal smart number. You can use your own phone number. If you already have a Google number that you use, you can do that too. It's just the thing about using the smart number is when those leads come in, they drop into your CRM automatically. And then there's some artificial intelligence, behavioral automation that the system will do, sending stuff for you on your behalf once they're in the CRM. But you can manually put them in the CRM and it will still do that. Okay, it's just saving you a step. So that's what a smart number is for. But if that $30 a month doesn't make sense, you will just have to do it manually, which is totally fine. Okay, so a lot of people ask about the smart number, and it's the first thing on this page. This is your KvCore, this is your EXP website that's given to you. And it's always your first name, last name, .exprealty.com. So every single person, even if you don't know, you've never logged into KvCore, your website is first name, last name, .exprealty.com. So if you're at the point of ordering business cards and you haven't gotten all set up yet, you can go ahead and do that by knowing it's first name, last name. For people who have teams, who have brands, who, like, you can forward a domain, like you can buy a domain. That's all a different whole conversation. So we're going to go through the basic stuff. This right here is the profile. This is the stuff that we're going to fill in first based on that worksheet that I sent to you guys. So you click on profile. Maria, it's Maria's computer. Yeah. Yeah, because you're the Mac person. I would probably destroy that computer. Yes. We kind of make a joke about Old Faithful here. It's a little clunky, but it never fails. Okay, knock on wood. Okay, so yeah, is that better? Is that better? A little bit. Can you hit the control plus? Well, there is no control on Mac. Command plus, the plus sign. Usually it makes the screen bigger. And then on that top right, just the bigger, to the little bit of the left of that. Left, right there.
That's just your screen. Then.
Oh, it doesn't get. Oh, that's my screen.
That's your screen. Yeah.
I'm a software person, okay? Not a hardware. All right. That almost worked though. Do 160. Better?
Yeah.
Better?
But it just got top into the.
That's all right.
We're gonna miss them on the sides by doing that way.
Are we? Okay. There you go, flip to window. Like it.
Roll with that.
Okay. So everyone on the right side here where it says offices, make sure that it says eXp Realty in Triangle region of North Carolina. this should be by default because of how you sign up with these, unless of course you're not in the triangle. Some people here are not in the triangle. Some people, this gets weird sometimes. Maybe they are a brand new agent when they sign up for EXP. They didn't understand what TMLS was and they picked something different because it's one that's like Raleigh or something. So anyways, that's the MLS that your IDX pulls from. So make sure it's the correct one. If it's not, there's ways to fix it. Here is your basic profile. You're going to click edit. And then right here, remember in the worksheet where I told you to have a picture saved on your computer? This is where you would upload that. So go ahead and do that if you haven't already. And then you're going to have obviously your name, first and last name. This is your MLS ID. I screenshotted this in the worksheet because I had this wrong for about a year. I put in my license number, not the same thing, MLS ID, because this is how they pull your listings for you. It didn't matter because I didn't have listings to that point. I'm like, why aren't my listings coming in? That's because I need your MLS ID.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I got my license.
See? I only know because I did it. Okay, I speak from experience here. Okay, and then your NERDS ID, which you can find in your RRAR. Hopefully everybody has that. So for your cell phone number, some of this is very self-explanatory. You want to click here, show on site, unless you don't want to show on site, which you probably should want to show that on your site. If you have different phone numbers here, this is going to probably default to your eXp Realty address right there. This next one is very important. This one says email from. This is the email that you want the system to send emails from. I don't want them to send it from charity.missaudi@exprealty.com because that's not the email that I use for work. I use my own personal because I have control over it and I have my signature set up and it's the font that I want. So it's very important that if I click email in my CRM, it's going to come from Charity at the Charity Realty Group and not from my eXp Realty. So that is where you put that here. This is a really big deal. And then you see where it says use email from for notifications. Make sure that that's clicked on. This will be populated for you. This is your website. That should already be in there. If you have a separate personal website, you can put that there. I'm not really sure what that's for. If you have a preferred lender that you're partnering with and they're paying for things, this is where you can put them here. I do not have lenders paying for things. If you have designations. One thing about KvCore that's kind of cool and kind of confusing is that all of the users of KvCore everywhere, all of them are populated right here. The cool thing about this is you can make whatever you want. You can type whatever you want here and it will save into the system. The problem is that there's no one place where you can go and find all the things you've ever typed into KvCore, which is why I told you guys to have an Excel sheet open, because you're going to need to keep track of all of the hashtags that you use, because you'll be able to find it by searching, by filtering, but unless you know what to look for, it's not going to work really well. We're going to get into hashtags later, but again, leave that blank right now if that you don't need anything with that. Here's an about me. If you've written a bio, had somebody write a bio for you, put it here. And then your signature, you should be able to paste into here, either from like what you have in Gmail. If you created one, that was all in the worksheet too, okay? You can put titles. These credentials are not displayed on the website, so I don't know why you put it there. Here is where you put your URLs for your social media. What this does is it creates that little F on your website, and people can click on it and it takes them directly to your business page. So that's why it's really important to have this entire URL here and pick your business page and not your personal page, right? Your LinkedIn, YouTube. And then this is where you put your license number. I don't know why I didn't get that. I didn't like notice that I put it in twice regardless. Okay. So then you can put here, and then if you speak multiple languages, then put those there. It'll go on your website. Hey, Dave. Okay.
Addison, come down for lunch. Oops. Sorry, y'all.
Why am I not? Can you help me with this? I don't know why I'm not. Why am I not able to open this up? Right? Like,
You want to slide over?
no, I want to see like all the participants.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just make
like,
it larger.
but I can't find my chat and stuff. Like I normally can find. Like it's not the full screen, and then for some reason I can't mute this guy.
It's probably not going to let me either. There's some people, for whatever reason, it's hard to mute them. If you want to, I can log in if you want to make me co-host, and I can help you monitor the room.
I don't. Okay. I don't know that I remember the password.
Oh, I'll just log in and then we'll just go to my.
Oh, perfect. Yes, love it. Perfect. Thanks. Okay. So then, of course, hit. And nothing will save if you don't hit save. And then that's pretty much what you need to do on your profile. Here, there's some download, send an email, change your password, hide an agent if you have a team.
Nicole is in here. I'm about to message her. You can private message people. Bobby and Rob on our work.
Is your thing muted?
No, it's not.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
And it says make host.
that's fine.
Okay. Pam's gonna help me out with the hosting duties, y'all. Okay, so and then here you can click into your settings. A lot of times if you have something wonky going on with your leads and stuff, it's probably something that you've set globally in your settings. So sometimes you want to check, making the contacts private, hiding your contacts from a team if you are a team leader. If you're on a team, I don't think you're supposed to do this. Make sure you check with your team leader. If you're on vacation, then it routes leads somewhere else. This is about the tasks. So there is a task bar here, which I'm going to show you here in a second. And it's basically like you're telling the system, create tasks for me with these statuses, which you can always X, change, add here, auto create calls. I don't want to create calls on the weekend, so I turn that off. You can edit the number of calls to create, to 100. Time to send an email, because you get an email from KvCore with your daily tasks. Change it. Your locale, the holidays, and save. So it will not create tasks for you on those days. That's pretty advanced. I don't think it really ever uses that. These are just different tabs, different ways to look at this. So KvCore gives you so many ways to look at things, because some people it's intuitive to look this way, some people it's intuitive to click this tab because it's visible. So a lot of this will repeat. Like you can get to things from multiple different ways and just figure out a way that works best. But honestly, a lot of it is just kind of clicking through all the different. You cannot break KvCore, I promise. It's a pretty robust system. So if you see with the phone numbers, you see here where it says rotate through all agents. That's what that means. When a lead comes in that's not assigned to a CRM, if somebody goes to exprealty.com and it's in the triangle, it's just going to go through a Tilly to all agents in the triangle, which is 700 something, maybe 800 here in Raleigh. But this one, obviously, because it's my personal smart number, if they call that number, then it's going to go directly to me. I can edit this. Oh, I can enable call recording. Interesting. See, you never know what you can do with KvCore. You can't really break it, okay? This is, yeah, maybe that wasn't there before. Okay. So different websites. I don't have more than one, so I don't think more than one will show. Well, I have gotten leads from this try.exprealty.com in the Tilly. Some people are in more than one MLS or more than one office region, so that would where that would show. This would be team stuff. Oh. Cam, you might need to record.
You're recording.
It is? Okay, good. I'm like, whoops.
I have a question. Charity, if you have multiple domain names,
Yeah.
then when you put all the domain names in here, are they all funneling back to here?
There's a way you have to forward domains with your domain provider. Yeah, so that's more of a outside of KvCore to send them to their KvCore website. I would check with your actual. So these are different lenders that are in this office. These are not my people. They're just attached to somebody. You might see some familiar faces here. So I would guess that I could just add them in as my preferred lender if I felt like it. And if they're not there, I could create it, but I don't. So, and then of course, agents on my team is just right now me. Okay. And I could, I guess, edit myself. So if you go up here to the top, again, this is the drop down that we were just in. This is the profile stuff. Hopefully everybody's good on that. This is, you can show recent activity. If you just scroll over it, it's going to tell you what it is. This is one of the things, this is the task. When somebody just asked me, what does that mean, create tasks? This is the tasks that are set for you by KvCore, based on what you tell KvCore you want your tasks to be set up with. If you have a lead, which I'm going to show you later, that you want to remind yourself to follow up within 6 months, you create a task and it will show up on that day. So it's a really good, if you're in your CRM every single day, if this is what you do all day long is stare at your computer, there is a way that you can actually sync this to your Google Calendar and have your tasks show up on your Google Calendar. That's pretty awesome if you are going to actually do them.
Say that again, please. Sorry.
There's a way that you can sync task. I think it's by doing this. So this is your email. You see where it says, sync contact email, load unread emails. Okay, I'm already synced. There, if you haven't done this, there's a button that says sync with Gmail. Click that button. It's going to ask you to sign into your Gmail account or Google domain, like mine is a domain. And then sync your Google Calendar with your KvCore calendar. Sync all your Google contacts into KvCore. So you're not going to have to manually enter all your contacts into your CRM. They're going to just sync automatically, which is cool. And then you want to type here how you want to import your contacts, what the lead status is. This is really important because you're going to have campaigns set up by lead status. So if you emailed some lender in your Gmail and you have it set up to automatically sync into KvCore, you don't want them to start a new lead campaign. That wouldn't make sense, right? So have them come in as something that is not triggered to a campaign, because with the way a campaign works is when lead is new, then do this. So we don't, when lead is sphere, then do this. There should be nothing for sphere if you're going to use this designation. Does that make sense how that works? A lot of people who've used CRMs before understand what I'm talking about. So just for now, I would put them in as sphere because by default, you don't have any campaign set up. So you'll be fine. Okay, and then you save those settings. This is probably the most important thing to do is to sync your Gmail, which is why I said in the workshop that if you have another email that you're using, it probably should be a Gmail. EXP cloning email, you have to have a Gmail account to clone that EXP Realty. So everybody should have at least one Gmail. I have about 7. You guys can borrow one if you need one. So, but does everybody have a Gmail account? Okay, cool. Then I'm not gonna beat that horse. Okay, so that's like profile stuff. Here's the quick action. So let's say, remember this is when you log in. This is where it's gonna come in automatically. These buttons are always across the top. You can click quick actions. You can add a contact manually, you can add a call, you can add a note to a lead, you can add a task, which is what I was telling you how you can add a task for things to do at certain days and times. You can send an email and then you can create a blog post. There are multiple ways to get to this, but that's just a quick, like that's kind of the default that a lot of people do while they're in the CRM, okay? So what we are on right here is your dashboard. It's a little different. It took me, I think you can, Rosie, I think you can add any lender of your choice. I think there's just a process to add them. So it took me a while to get this dashboard. It was kind of confusing to me. I was like, why am I seeing all these tiles with the same name over and over and over again? Okay. Right now, if you're a newbie, nothing is in there. So that's not going to make a lot of sense. But right there's your summary of what you should be doing today, which team leaders obviously will be assigning that to people to do. And then your task based on what you scheduled for yourself. This is the KvCore training. This is the learning portal. This is a really good place to be looking if you are not as familiar with KvCore. And this is your dashboard. It is sorted automatically by activity. So basically the most recent activity on your website is going to show here. So what this means is that this girl went on my website 5 hours ago with her cell phone and checked out this property, right? This girl a day ago went on her cell phone and checked out this property too. Same property. This is a new listing. This guy, he checked on his computer and his phone 6 days ago, etc. Okay, so while you're seeing, if you see somebody looking at several properties, they're probably pretty interested in something, right? So that's why it's set up like this, because if you see the same name, it's just kind of like, oh, I should probably contact that person. Ask me if I.
People that you put into your CRM,
Mhm.
or these people that just are randomly on your website?
Well, if they go on my website, they go on my CRM.
Okay.
So that's the thing about KvCore is within 2 clicks, it forces them to register. So that's how, and it goes into my CRM from the registration. Yeah, or I sync them with my Google Calendar.
I have a question. On the task, will only show the task for each contact, or can I do, let's say that you do your monthly mail outs, and would that be shown as a task, or?
If you set it up as a task. Yeah, you can set up a task, create monthly mail outs. Does that make sense? Like,
So you create a contact that says monthly mail outs? Or?
so I'll get to task. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So right here, there's a drop down that says all activity. This gives you the option of only like sorting this view. So if you only want to see property views, then you're only going to see that in your dashboard, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So these people are people who looked at properties. It doesn't have my listing on there. It doesn't have my emails that are synced, et cetera. You can also click them like this. Again, there's multiple ways. It's just what makes sense to you. So sometimes you see it's like, why does it have it here and have it there? Because some people it's more intuitive to click a button for a filter, and some people it's not. So I have mine defaulted to all activities. Kathy said, do I think the 2 clicks on the website is best as opposed to immediately? I mean, that's a judgment call. There's been several conversations about you can have them you can never force them to register, but this is called lead generation. If they don't want to register, they're not a lead. And you know what I'm saying? So like, it depends how you feel. It's pretty easy to register. And I think everybody now knows if you're going to click on something, they're going to make you register. I think everybody is used to that now, but that's my feeling. So here's your calls that are supposed to be doing. Oh, look, math snooze. How do I select all? Okay. And then, so this is like if you are setting up a call sheet for the day, like you just know you need to call them these days. You have your tasks.
Charity, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Or is it, I don't know if this is more towards campaigns. Once you put someone's information in and you contact them and you don't get a hold of them, do you recommend putting a campaign drip immediately in for the house they clicked on or whatever?
Yeah, and we're gonna get to that in the leads. Yeah, for sure. This is, again, this dashboard is your view. Here's your calendar. Oh, look, my whole calendar is in here. Look how many times I'm at the Umstead. Okay, so for real. This is your, so if you're, I don't really, okay, I know how KvCore works. Let me just disclaim that I don't use a CRM the way that I'm supposed to. People are like, oh, what's the best CRM? The one that you use, it doesn't matter. It can be a piece of paper and a pen as long as you're actually using it. But if you're actually using the CRM correctly, there's some really good business analytics that you can see is like how many leads that you have, how many are new, how many are active, how many clients did you, this is not accurate, under contract and close. I don't even know where these clothes came from because I definitely never put them in KvCore.
Because you can attach it to your dashboard.
I don't know. I don't have that loop.
No, oh,
Yeah, no. So yeah, this is not a tab I personally use, but if you are really like, dedicated to using your CRM, it's great. And there's actually a whole business analytics tab way down here that gets more into detail. Okay. But remember, this is just your general overview dashboard. You can kind of get to things quickly from your dashboard. But most likely you're going to come in, when you log in, it just goes right to your dashboard like this, and you're going to go to another link over here. But at least you can see, oh, I just got into my CRM, and man, this guy has seen like 17 properties. I need to call him immediately. Even though I have this task list or this call list or what have you, I feel like I should probably maybe also add this to the calls and like get in touch with him right now. So getting into the smart CRM. Any questions so far before because I kind of want to take just between profile and dashboard and now getting heavy into, I have a chat, hang on.
Where did you get those numbers? When you had the numbers on that were just across there, I don't see, where did you click on?
Which ones? The ones about my business? Yeah, so I was in the dashboard.
Okay.
And it's right across the top here, activity, calls, task, calendar, my business. Gotcha. And if you go all the way on the left down here to the bottom where it says business analytics, it's the same thing. So again, there's multiple ways that you can kind of get there. So Razi asked, does the close and under contract mirror numbers on enterprise? Could be. I would assume that that's maybe, it's not quite accurate. Maybe it's because I know in enterprise, once you get into there, sometimes you have to manually refresh your enterprise. Like that's a different conversation, but probably that's where it's coming from because I know I haven't put them into KvCore. So getting to the smart CRM, this is probably the biggest thing. And honestly, if you really want to be successful in real estate, you should be using a CRM every single day. Like you have to have the discipline of following up with your leads, knowing what status that they're in, having campaigns. Otherwise, your real estate business is happening to you and you're not actually doing anything. Okay. So a couple things across the top here, you have all these columns that you can choose which ones that you want to include in your view, on and off. So just by this drop down here where it says columns. Okay. You can edit this to have as up to 100 rows at a time. This is probably better if you're doing something like a mass text because you got to select them, right? So you want to have as many rows as possible. You have a more actions tag here. So this is where in this view, you can do mass actions. If you just imported by sphere, I'm going to search in the filter by sphere. I'm going to select all and do some kind of mass action, add a task, add hashtags, change the status from sphere to new lead or from new lead to past client or something like that. So that's if you're, bringing in a bunch of leads at one time, that's where you're going to be able to do that quickly instead of clicking in, manually changing. You're not going to want to do all that. Okay. Assigning a lender, sharing the contacts or transferring. That's two different things. I don't have a team. I know I can transfer a contact or a lead to somebody and it's no longer in my CRM. I believe that sharing means that I get to see what you're doing with it. Is that right? Okay, cool. Adding campaigns. So like if you wanted to search by a hashtag and you want to add the same campaign to that, like, so for example, if you wanted to send a mass email newsletter, or if you wanted to add the campaign of the newsletter to a bunch of leads from the same hashtag, that's how you would do that here in mass actions.
Can you mention one thing about
Yeah.
transferring leads?
Yeah.
If you're a team leader, there's two options. You can transfer or you can transfer ownership of it. Just be careful because you may not want to necessarily transfer full ownership over to a team member. You just may either want to share,
Yeah,
or just transfer so you guys can both collaborate on it.
yeah, yeah. And the teams, I'm not as familiar with the team side of KvCore, but at least if you understand the basics of how KvCore works, then adding the team training on top of that is all. I think you get a concierge for that, right? Yeah. So, yeah.
Question. So let's say that you want to give a referral.
Mm-hmm.
So would you?
I would either share I'd probably share if it's somebody that's not on my team. If someone was on my team, I may transfer, but I would not transfer ownership of it. Because if they ever leave you, Lord, you hope they don't, but if they ever leave you, then that lead would go with them.
Hmm.
As a team owner, if you purchase the leads, you typically want to stay with them.
Right. Exporting the contacts, you can mass export your contacts if you wanted to put them in a different CRM, if you sync or something like that. Sending voicemails. This is if you guys have ever heard of Slide Dial, have you guys heard of this? Yes, it is. For those of you guys who don't know what that is, it's a program that allows you to just send calls straight to voicemail. I called you, you didn't answer. I don't know what happened. Or like, oh man, I got a voicemail. I never got a ring. They'll call you right back. So like if you're circle prospecting and you want to send, voicemails instead of text or actually physically call them, that is a separate, it's called voicemail drop or core voicemail or something that we'll get to here. It's an add-on. That's what that is. So you could select mass action and send one voicemail to everyone.
Word of advice, just do chunks at a time, don't do 100 because it's crazy.
It gets crazy. Haven't done it yet. Well, I'm gonna take your word for it. Sending core videos is like sending BombBomb videos. You guys familiar with BombBomb? BombBomb is it's an app that allows you, it's kind of like Marco Polo a little bit, but it's not a back and forth within the system, but you basically are sending in a video by text or email. And it's, instead of trying to manually like take a video and send it to them, it goes over the internet, which means there aren't the data limits that you have by sending an actual text with a video. So that's what BombBomb is, core video. You get 10 free videos just in general here. If you want to do unlimited videos, it's probably a good idea. It's $30 a month as well. And you basically build up a video library. You can make campaigns around videos, like make a campaign of videos. Probably one of the best ideas because people respond to video much more than they do to calls at this point, or text. Texts are good too. And then that's where the transfer ownership right there at the very bottom, that's what Pam was talking about.
Carrie, quick question.
Yeah.
Is this where you can select your entire sphere and send them a text if you wanted to? How would you select your sphere here?
I'm gonna show you.
Is it sending it from your phone number or is it sending it from a crazy
KvCore number.
KvCore?
KvCore number. That's the only thing is it sends it from the KvCore number.
I just saw Lisa Quinn said something.
Yeah. She asked if we already have a BombBomb account. I asked this. You have to actually cancel your BombBomb account and do it through KvCore.
Are they related to KV?
Yeah, KvCore core video is through BombBomb,
Okay.
but it's the same. It's just that you can't say, oh, here's my login for my BombBomb that I already pay for. For some reason, it needs to be created within KvCore. Again, if you're not really using the CRM for that, like if you have a way to send through BombBomb by exporting leads, which is one of the export lead functions, and then there's a workaround. But if you generally want to go into a lead and hit send video, it needs to be through KvCore. So somebody had asked if I wanted to send only to my sphere. I would go into this filter and I would pick sphere and I would apply the filters. And then everyone who showed up in these leads would be my sphere, which is why it's really important that you're tagging people correctly so that you can find them in the future. This is called, what is this, lead status? No, it's not lead status. This is like lead name, or it's a saved filter, but basically it's a name, the type of lead that it is. There's more things that you can filter by if you've entered it. It's kind of like when you're doing an MLS search and you're counting on the listing agent to put everything in correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to put things in correctly to be able to find them in the future. So if I have, and I won't have this in my sphere, so let me just change this to new lead. And I'm going to put a buyer. So it's and it has to be a new lead and a buyer and so when you're doing the filters, the more it narrows down. So sometimes you want to back off a little bit and have a broader view. Sometimes you want a really narrow view. So, and then you can, there's rating systems that KvCore gives to leads based on how they're interacting, how many times they've gone to your website, how many emails they've opened. So if you want to, you know, search by rating, you can do that. Only the ones that have a phone, only ones that don't have a phone, only the ones that have an email, only ones that don't have an email, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Has a birthday, no birthday, created within a certain time frame, and it's pretty specific. You can get really, really, really detailed, which is good if you were going to send like targeted emails or, you know, email campaigns, et cetera. You can target by their behavior, that they've saved a property in the past 7 days, saved property this week. I mean, it's pretty targeted. I don't know that you would use that every single day, but if you're really going to be creative with your campaigns, it's a really good place. And then property interest based on the price range. So I'm going to show you how KvCore does that here in a second, because there's some artificial intelligence that goes into it. Based on location, you have to type it in, beds, baths, etc. So I'm gonna apply the filter new lead buyer and see what happens. And so now that's given me 124 leads. Now, if I go back into that filter and I take out buyer and it's just new lead total, so I still have 124 leads. Okay, so apparently all my new leads are buyers. But that's just because I don't type in buyer on things. That's my problem. But if you were really doing this well, but this is really, 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 really crucial. Half the time people are calling me, asking me questions about the CRM is they didn't pick this button, clear filters. If you come back in tomorrow, it will still have the same filters that you applied from the last time. It keeps it there. So really, really remember to hit the clear filters. Try that first. That's probably where you're going to be. So if I select all, send mass email, select all, send mass text, select all, video message, more actions, etc. So this is for mass actions. Now let's talk about how to add a contact in, and then how to edit a contact or look at it in its own little card. Let me just check for questions really quick. Okay, change with your lead routing. Okay, yeah, lead routing is something that we are definitely not going to cover today. Mass import contacts is down here. We're going to get to mass importing contacts. There's several ways to mass import contacts. So one by one, if you want to manually add contact, this is a really important piece to understand. When you're adding a contact, let's just.
Sorry, Sherry, I didn't see what button you clicked to add that.
Sure, it's right. It's right there at the very top, the add contact. This is really important right here, and it's kind of missed and it's very light. I don't like the UI here, but you have to enable permission to email, call, and text. Super important because it's easy to overlook this part. This is where you enter whether they're a buyer, seller. You can have more than one, so unclick the ones you don't want, right? Lead status. It is lead status. Seems like a weird name for it though, but lead status. There is some question marks about when a lead comes in, what are we calling them? New lead versus active lead versus prospect, and that is all up to you. It doesn't matter as long as you remember and use it consistently, okay? Which is why you want to have notes for like your people, like when new lead comes in, they are in this category, and you can change that, and that's the lead routing stuff, okay? So it's just important because campaigns are based off of these things. Like a certain campaign will start with a new lead status versus a prospect status, right? Okay, So I'm going to put sphere just to make it easier.
And as newer agents, when you first get started, it won't seem like a big deal. You'll have like 10 leads, right? But then as you get 1,000 leads and then 5,000 leads, which will happen like this, if you're not diligent about adding hashtags or filtering these folks right, then you'll have 4 John Warts and they'll all seem the same. So it looks so minuscule.
Mhm.
There's so many agents will go in and look and every single one of their leads is tagged as like a new lead. So just do it right from the start.
So you have to manage the tags regularly.
Managing tags, managing stats.
So if it's a buyer, once they buy a house, and hope there are no more buyers.
Then they're a sphere or a past client.
When you start on, and it wasn't for me, none of the campaigns are enabled.
No,
You have to go in and
they're not.
actually-
Yeah.
Because when you said, okay, and then when you start working with someone and you put them as new, as soon as they respond to you, it automatically changes to active. So I'm saying.
I think it does.
Okay.
Yeah. So the question, because somebody just messaged me and said the people on Zoom can't hear the questions in the room.
I'm sorry.
So the question that she asked was when let's say you get a new lead in and it starts as new lead, and then you respond or they respond or somehow then it changes to active. That may be the case. I don't really know how
That's
KV.
what's
Yeah,
happening to me. Like,
it's probably, but then you can mass action it back to new leads if you want to.
when they say leave me alone, it switches to active.
Well, then you would need to go in and change it to archive. You know, like KvCore is only so smart. It's not an actual like AI. Yeah. So so lead status is sphere, lead source. So this is important here. You definitely want to source your leads, especially if you're doing this business analytics to see the performance of your leads. Like it's so here. Remember, it's going to have all of the ways that people have entered this ever in KvCore ever in EXP. So you don't have to pick these. Pick your own. You can type in. You can just type it in. You can just say Zillow. Right? It's already there. Whatever. So,
Or let's say that you went to an event
Mhm.
and then you got all these leads. You can say all these leads came from event.
you can, or you can hashtag them with that event. So there's multiple ways to search. If somebody who's asking the same question, it's probably going to be easier just to pick a default lead source and use hashtags instead. Okay. So, lead, and you can leave it blank. I think you can leave it blank potentially. I'm not sure. Yeah. Just go with the agent website. Lead owner.
Very important on evaluating your ROI.
Mhm.
Type researches, but lead source will stay.
You can add a campaign. These are the ones that are in my campaign folder. So I could pick this and it would automatically start the campaign. You don't have to. And then you could add a lender. I don't have any that are in my system that are attached to me. You can CC the lender on every interaction, and then you can make notes. The notes are very important. But make notes. I met them at an open house, whatever the case may be. Add the contact. So this is what the lead tab looks like. So many things to do here, guys. So bear with me. This is going to take a minute. Anybody need to take a 5-minute or have a question before we get into this?
Did you just click a lead to get into that?
Well, I was adding and then I hit save. But I can this is what it looks like. I'm actually going to use a different lead because it makes more sense. Okay, so yes, see, sometimes it's going to ask me to give permission to call and text when I add their phone number. All right, so this is me, obviously. So this is what a lead looks like once it's been put in and there's been some activity. On the top on the left, obviously has the name. Okay, did you see that? Click on the little pencil and you can edit it. And then save or cancel. It shows you when the last time I was active on my own website, how many views, with the phone number, which of course you can edit, give permissions to call. I can actually make a call from my computer. Call now.
And you use your smart number?
Yeah. And it's like if you use Vulcan or RedX or Mojo, whatever, like it's going to call your cell phone and then call them from that smart number. Does that make sense? It's not going to call like using your computer.
But if you miss them and then they try to return.
It's going to go back
number,
to
it goes,
the smart number. But the smart number will be routed to your phone. I mean, it's going to come in. I don't know if you guys, so we use CallRail for a previous company, and I love the way that they set it up that I can have different phone numbers for different campaigns. And then when it rings my phone, it shows as the smart number, so I can save it in my phone as smart number, as in the person that's calling me is coming from my smart number. It doesn't do that. It just shows up as their caller ID. So you have to be the kind of person that answers their phone.
I always hang up on them. It's like sad.
If I wanted to make a call and I was just going to call from my cell phone, not using the smart number, I would need to log that call. Does that make sense? I'd click in outbound and make a note, and it will show up in the timeline activity that I actually made the call.
Charity, do you give when you give your number out to clients, you're giving them your smart number?
I give my cell phone number
So
now at this point, but in
so
the future.
People that have been calling your smart number, do they say, and they don't know that that's not your cell phone number, are they saving that smart number as your cell phone number?
Yeah, usually, and they've come across this, especially in a team, but a lot of times I tell them that's my office number. Now you're my client, here's my cell phone number. But you can respond to them by text through the KvCore mobile app. It's a little clunky though. So I like the smart number if you're going to be doing outbound marketing. If you're going to post it on Craigslist, you're going to, because you can just mute them in KvCore instead of they don't actually have your real phone number, right?
On your signs, do you have a smart number?
I have a smart number for my text codes, but I have my regular phone number for my signs. But that's just me as a newer agent. Probably if I was a team leader, I'd have smart numbers, right? Because we don't have call group, doesn't have Tina's cell phone number on her signs, right? There's a number that you use for your office, which you could use this, or you could pay for a Google number. It's just that if somebody calls that Google number, it's not going to automatically route into your CRM. If you want it to do that, then I would pay for the personalized smart number and have it go directly into your CRM. That's what I would recommend if you're going to pay that $30 a month, whatever it is. It makes sense. If you're going to pay for it somehow, at least have it coming directly into your CRM and capturing it for you, so you don't have to manually enter. Okay. So many text messages. Okay. And then this is where you can schedule a call, right? This is where you have the call set up on your call sheet. This is how you schedule a call. You can sync it with Google. You can repeat it. If you have a client where you know you're going to call them every Friday and talk about their listing, do a repeat if you're going to be on your tasks. That's all right here next to their phone number. I click call and I have these options. I could also click it right here where it says new call and have the same options, right? So there's multiple ways that you can do this. Or text. Now this text is coming from KvCore. There's canned messages. Just click on it and see what it says. If it makes sense, or you can edit it, that's fine too. You want to add an MLS ID number. Okay, I saw this property. I think it might be good for you. Just put the MLS ID number. It's going to include a link to that property on your website. So they will click on it and it will take them to your website, which you'll be able to track what they're doing. Okay, which I'm going to show you in a second. Now, this is where if you wanted to text a video, instead you click looking to text a core video. You can send it as an email or a text. There's an editor, there's a library. If you've done videos before, there's a whole library that you can choose from. So if you have kind of a generic-ish welcome video, lead comes in, generic, send, hi, it's Charity. Want to put the face with the name. Thanks for checking out the property. You don't say checking out 4954 Old Stage Road. You can say the property. Someone from my team is going to get with you in the next few minutes. Let us know if you have any questions. It's generic enough it can be used for any kind of lead that comes in, or you might want to do a specific video for them. That's up to you, but you have those options here, okay?
Also, can I just give you another idea?
Yeah.
So I created a library of the forms. Sometimes, let me just, okay, I want to make an offer, sure, let me just do it. And then on on the buyer consultation, I always explain the offer to purchase, but you don't know if they're gonna buy a house like the next week and
Sure.
they'll forget, like
Yeah.
2 months later, they're
Yeah.
like, they don't remember what you said.
Yeah.
So I don't want nobody to come back and say, you never told me that. And so I say, okay, sure, let me go ahead and send you the offer, but before I do that, I'm going to send you a quick video with a summary of the offer.
Right.
And so in that video, I'll explain it
Yeah.
all, and then go ahead
Perfect.
and sign after the video.
Yeah, so
But that could be on the live.
absolutely, absolutely. And so it's like, and you can send it from the mobile
Mhm.
app. If you have it in your library, you just pick which video, boom, sends it. So that's, I mean, that's a great, what she's saying for those of you guys who couldn't hear is basically you do the buyer's consultation, you explain stuff. If it's their first offer, it may be weeks later, right? And so before you send that offer, she wants to re-explain the offer to purchase to her clients, but she doesn't want to physically re-explain the offer because she's too busy to do that. So she made a video that she is on YouTube or whatever. You send them the YouTube
those
link.
are my internal ones.
Okay.
So I have internal videos that
Yeah.
I only send to my clients.
Yeah, no, but where is it saved? It's on your phone or something?
It's on my Dropbox.
Oh, Dropbox. Okay. So you can do Dropbox, you can do a Google Drive, you can upload them to YouTube and make them private and just have the link somewhere. I keep them in my notes on my phone. You guys are my mentees, you know, I just text you links to videos all the time. You have a question, watch a video, like, you know, like then call me if you have any questions, but you probably won't because it's all in the video. So this is the thing, like, and you could do it through here or you can do it that way. So that's another benefit for sure. Here I can select a video from the library, or I could just open the recorder and start it right now. Uh-oh, because I'm using my video for something else. It's not gonna let me do it. Okay, but that's how you do it. And then you have, so that's all just like next to their phone number. And then you can send a text and have the option, or you can just go straight to sending a video. Like there's so many ways to find it, but you're not gonna lose it, okay?
Quinn has a really quick question while we're on the video. Do
Okay.
you know if it's 10 videos like in your library or just 10 cents per month free with the core video?
Good question. I don't know the answer to that because I've had several people ask. I think it's 10 total videos that you can send, not 10 in your library. I think they really want you to upgrade to the core video,
But
which
it's cheap.
it's cheap.
If you were to do it on your own, it's like $200.
For,
Like, per month.
is it? Yeah, do it through KvCore.
And it's awesome because your contract's $1 a year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's a really good deal. Then you have the email address here, obviously, which you can edit. Somebody had asked another question was, oh, so at least Alyssa says 10 videos per month. She tried, okay. Search alerts. Search alerts are like MLS alerts. I'm going to show you this. I don't love search alerts as much as the MLS Collab Center, but they're good for leads. Okay, so a lot of people ask this question is when do I use KvCore search alerts versus MLS Collaboration Center? It's two different things. If they are not a client of yours yet, you want to track how many times they're opening emails, how many properties they're looking at, how long they looked at each property. You also want this information fed into KvCore because there's some analytics down there we're going to get to that shows what types of properties generally they like, right? It's helping you understand the things that they like to see. So I use KvCore search alerts for that. Once I've done a buyer's consultation and I've got them set up in Paragon, that's when I think the Collab Center is easier and more user-friendly than our KvCore websites. Our KvCore websites are usually more one-off because when you get a search, and I'm going to show you this in just a second, but basically search alerts, it has one alert on there. I'm not sure where that came from, but you can add more alerts. How you add more alerts is you go up to here to alerts, right? No, I don't really know how I got this alert for 775,000 up to 1.162. That's a very specific number. But I've looked at 2 properties, mostly single family in Angier with 3.5 bedrooms and 3.5 baths for around 560. That's not accurate. So basically what happened is I looked at my own listing that was in Angier for $160,000 and probably another $2.5 million property, and it kind of averaged it out. So they have to use it like more. This is how AI works. It needs more data before it can be accurate, but at least it's the beginning of stuff, right? So I can edit this particular alert. And how you do that is obviously you can pick a listing type, single family, condos. The more that you add here, these are ors, single family or condo or pending or townhouse. So like this, you can have several and it's not going to like reduce it down to just, it has to be all of those things. That's not possible to be a single family and a condo at the same time. Keywords, honestly, I don't know what keywords are. You can add your own keywords. I've never been able to figure it out. I don't think it's necessary. Options.
It could be like a cabin or something that is more specific.
Yeah, like, but it doesn't, it's just another search function which you can use in hashtags if you want to. So this is really cool if you want to send alerts to people who have just listed, or just fixer-uppers, or just open houses, or just adult 55 plus, or just golf course, or just pool. Now remember, this is pulling from the MLS, so you have to think that the listing agent put these in correctly in the description, which is why sometimes you may not want to be so specific because you'll be missing things. But if they really are looking for reduced in foreclosures, it's that particular type of buyer, then that would be good, okay? Seller financing, structural options, master on main. And again, remember, it has to be put in the computer right as master on main or it's not gonna pull it. So we know that that's an issue too. I think that should be required, but moving forward. So any hoodles, that's what you would pick there for options. And then for areas, you can put in zip code, city, neighborhood, subdivision, MLS area, which I guess they won't have anymore since we've just gotten away with MLS sub areas. Sad face, okay? Or you could draw it on a map just like you would do with, you know, the MLS. So that's good if you're familiar with maps. And then how many, so I'm gonna put 27560. 27560. This is really important. Let it think and click on the green button. Because if it doesn't recognize what you're putting in, it's not going to stay there. Somebody give me a neighborhood that they love to farm. Okay. I'm going to say there's probably not going to be a lot of condos and townhouses in Lockmere, right? I'm going to take out 5+ bathrooms. And I'm going to take out the lower limit of the price range. And I want to have a minimum of 0.5 square feet, 0.5 acres. I'm not going to put square foot range because I'm really like reducing it down. I can choose my frequency, send it as soon as it hits the market, send it daily, weekly, whatever you want for the alerts. And you can CC yourself on it. She's like, no, please don't. Unless you have a junk email just for that, or a folder. So, sorry, I got to get you guys out of the way. And then I'm going to update my alert. You can hit save and send, but I like to see the results first before I save and send, right? Like I want to see there's no results. So let me, well, because there's no listings on the market.
In Lockmere there are.
Well, apparently not 5 bedrooms plus. So let's
Well,
just
not
get,
5 bedrooms.
let's see if I just change that.
I think there's like one.
Nope.
Maybe the acreage.
It's the acreage probably. Which is why, again, unless they're like, oh, I have to have this, that, and the other, just let it be and just see what all is out there. There you go. And then I can send the recent results, which I can email them, I can text them, or I can copy a link and probably email it, but I'm going to go ahead and email recent results. And then by default, the subject matter says, I think you might like these listings. I can pick a template, but if I pick a template, it's going to take this link out of here. So don't do that unless you copy it. But I wouldn't just send them a link like this, guys. I mean, hi, here, like, here's a link. I mean, say something like, here is what is available in Lockmere. here now. Let me know if you want to. I'm emailing this to myself and I'm being very formal. Let me know if you want to see anything. Okay. Include my signature and send.
But even if you were to have it in a canned message, do you think that maybe just to make it fast?
Yeah, you can make canned messages. You can make your own. Those are templates, which we're going to get into in the marketing stuff. Yes. So you can, if you, like a lot of people, if you've been an agent for a while, you basically probably have, you say the same thing over and over and over again. Hopefully you have email templates in your email. You can copy and paste and put in here, you know, and those, you name them whatever you want to name them. But yes, that makes it much faster. I love it. I'm all about the templates. You and me, baby. All right. So I can add a second alert. I can edit. And then if they wanted to stop looking, I can make this inactive, right? Okay. Or I can edit it anytime. So that's what alerts are. Files, if you wanted to add files to the lead, this is pretty new. I see her face. She's like, So if you wanted, you know, I don't know why, but if you needed your team lead to see certain files, buyer's agency, I have no idea. But
maybe you can have the pre-approval letter there and then just have an alert or a task.
Yeah.
For the system to tell you their pre-approval letter is going to expire whenever and you can call them and contact them before that.
Apparently it is it has it's a Google Drive, reading that. So somebody asked a question, when we send them an email, which I'm gonna show you what it looks like. I think you may like these listings. Sometimes the first time it sends an email to them, it might go to junk. So make sure you're just checking with them. Hey, I just sent you some emails, or like if they have Gmail, it's in social or promotions or something like that. So just once they accept, you see, and then it sends it with my signature. So I'm going to click on that link. What the person was saying is that it's going to ask them to log in if they have, you see my name right here, I have a login, but that's for whatever reason I logged in with the first time I was at my computer with this information. That's how I got this lead. Sometimes you may be manually entering them and they haven't done that process yet. The process of logging in is a disclaimer where they accept that you're basically able to track them. They don't know that that's what it says. So that's why it forces them to go through that registration process if they haven't already. So this is what it looks like when you get a multi-property search, which is going to be important when we talk about squeeze pages here. So when I get a multi-property search, you know, I can view the details, view similar properties, save it. Let me show you what I don't love about this. I just got a notification from KvCore that Charity was on my website. So one of the difficulties here, I guess they've just now added this. Oh, it finally goes back. Maybe somebody took our suggestions because there was no way to get, this is the search page. You see when I click it opens in a new tab, just so weird, but whatever. And then can I click next? They fixed it. Okay, I take back all I said about KvCore. This was the difficulty because you couldn't get back to the search page from this page. You had to like kind of find it or hit the back button. So good job, KvCore. So you can search through the different, you know, pictures. It actually, I mean, it looks very pretty. I do like it has your picture there and your phone number. We have a Millions Mapped app. So this prompts them to download the app that they can look through, find the home's value, which means if they're asking for the seller, it's basically seller squeeze page, they give you their address and ask for a CMA, which is like a generic CMA, but it's pretty good. So it has like the schools, it has all the stuff. I think it looks pretty nice. So you want them on your site as much as possible, which is why it was bad when the navigation was weird, but now they fixed it. So
well, one other
hallelujah.
You know how you said they have to register?
Yeah.
Let's say that it was your client, they registered with you.
Yeah.
And then they opt out.
Yeah.
They didn't want to find a
Yeah.
house for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I find the same client.
Yes.
And I try to put them in the system.
Yeah.
They won't let them in.
They won't?
No.
Interesting.
That I know.
I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. They probably would have to delete them or share them or transfer ownership. But how would you even know which other agent they're with?
Yeah.
use a different email address. I've got 7. You literally just let them borrow one of mine. So now that I go back to KvCore, let me refresh it. Now that I've been playing around the website. Disable texting because they realized it was my phone number. Because when I was trying to send text like to KvCore numbers, like to test them, they're like, we're not going to send this. This is you. Like it tells me like unable to send text, you know, whatever. So, well, they just disabled it. So I'm going to, whatever. So, KvCore. But it shows me what text they sent me. Right? And it shows me that I opened the email. Wait, here's the email that I sent. I can view it and know what it looked like. I can see that it was opened by this little open envelope signal. And it was opened at what time. And I can see that these are the ones that I clicked into on my computer. That's what these 2 little icons, computer versus cell phone. So KvCore did all that. I didn't do it, okay? But now you see my summary has changed. The summary of what I'm interested in. And then I go back down to more details and I can add all kinds of things down here. Home preferences, I can edit this. Auto dial text, no, I can edit this to yes. All my sources. If I wanted to add birthdays, for you guys who keep track of that for your clients, you can do follow-up campaigns after they close, send them gifts, etc. Okay, this is like super duper stalkerific right here, but you can put it all in there. This lead validation, somebody asked if what is lead validation? Basically, KvCore kind of matches what information they have against Google, Facebook, Spokio, like they go through LinkedIn to see if it kind of matches and it validates it. It takes them about 24 hours to do it. You can force validation over here into more actions. Rerun somewhere over here. You can do this, but it'll do it for you. Can you go back real quick? How do you review alert settings before sending to clients? So what I do in the alerts, when I'm editing, when I come down here, it asks me either to just update it or save and send. So I'm just going to update first, make sure it's accurate before, and then once I update it, it's going to give me the option here to send recent results, which I can send by email, text, or by copying the link. Okay. Click on the checkbox here. Lead is validated, but that's saying that I validated it. There's an actual validation they do, and then there's a star rating that they do here. So, so that's alerts. Now let's get into campaigns. We're not going to quite get into campaigns here, but this is how you would add an active campaign that's already active in your KvCore. You can just add it by the drop down. I don't have any campaigns active. I have campaigns in my system, but I don't have them active to automatically start. So I wouldn't be able to add it here, but if you have your campaign set up, that's where you would do it. Market reports. I'm going to pick a market, and it can be by city, neighborhood, zip code, whatever. And then I'm going to pick that I want to send that every 7 days. And then I'm going to click send now. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my timeline. And I'm going to view the market report. This is what the market report looks like for 27560. Look at the Wegmans. I mean, it's fine. Great, recently listed. The whole point of this is just how many touches can it automatically send for you. Somebody asked when you get first get a new lead, should you set up market reports? And yes, like if nothing else, if they don't, oh, you asked about, they don't respond. Set a market report and alerts. Yeah, because then it'll just email them automatically and they may or may not click, but at least you're not having to think about it. Of course, you should still have your follow-up campaigns, but at least something is being sent on your behalf, especially if you're not great at follow-up. Seller reports. This is if you have a seller in here as a lead and they want to see how many times their lead was viewed on your website every week or something. I set up seller reports to send to me. Then if it looks impressive, I'll send it to them. If it doesn't, I'm like, well, no, we don't have that capability. But like that's just how you keep track over time. So you'd have to have your MLS ID number in there. And then the most important thing here is your hashtags. Okay, hashtags, it's a little easier now in our generation, like with, how we use hashtags everywhere, Instagram, whatever. So basically think of an Instagram when you have a hashtag realtor, you click on that hashtag and everyone's post, whoever was tagged realtor, it shows up. You're tagging your leads with certain hashtags. And they have to be what you understand your hashtags to make sense to you, which is why with KvCore, you can make whatever hashtags that you want. Again, the problem being that it's not listed anywhere. So you need to have a Word doc or Google doc or whatever, somewhere separate that you're keeping track. This is where naming conventions comes in really, 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 really important. If I'm my leads with their price point, if their price point is between 200 to 300, how am I going to write that? I'm going to write 200 to 300, or am I going to write 200 to 300? That's different. If I start looking for this hashtag, these guys aren't going to show up. If I'm going to put 2 to 3, 2 to 3, right? So it doesn't matter what you do. It just needs to be consistent across there. So that am I going to go from 2 to 450, right? Does that make maybe is that usually a price range that you work in? Is that how you chop up the market in your brain? Like whatever makes sense to you.
What is the hashtag for? I mean, I understand the hashtag, but if you have a buyer that's searching for something, why would you?
So when you have, so for this particular buyer that we just looked at,
yeah,
this fake buyer that we just made, I put Lockmere.
right.
Because basically, and I would put Carrie. Probably also put Apex. I would put 500 to 900. I'd put 5 plus beds. I'm categorizing them in my mind because if I see a listing that comes up that fits Lockmere, I'm going to send it to anyone who's looking in Lockmere. Now, other people looking in Lockmere might have a different price range. So I might have another lead Lockmere 300 to 500. So if I had just Lockmere and I didn't niche it down to by price point as well, like I could just pull up 300 to 500 and they may be Lockmere or not Lockmere. So it's just a little bit of strategy of like, how do you normally categorize? Like when I have a listing, oh, that would be good for anybody who's looking in Carrie, anybody who's looking in this price range, and then you can search by multiple hashtags, like they have to be Lockmere and 500 to 900. So that's the importance of understanding how buyers or sellers kind of usually look at properties, and that's how you tag them. It will change over time, and that's why you can add mass hashtags. Like in the future, you might want to also add buyer. You might also want to add seller, because now they're not a buyer anymore, and now they're a seller. Or maybe obviously they're a seller, they're probably going to buy too. So those are things like there is a buyer seller tab in the, but if you just want to categorize everything with hashtags and make it easier, then that's probably the best way to do it. That way you can just filter in one place just by hashtags. Does that make sense how hashtags work? It's kind of hard to explain, but it's so important. They're filters. Yeah.
And when you create a new hashtag, you don't have to actually put the hashtag.
No.
Just
open house. So I met them at an open house. So if I have all these leads that came in from have an event, like I had a strawberry festival or Apex Peak Fest 2020. Okay, important, because if you're going to go to this festival every single year, you might want to categorize, or maybe these are 2020 leads. maybe these are December 2020.
For that credit.
Credit repair. Probably not looking in Lockmere, but let's go for it, okay? That is all right, okay? So if I was doing a campaign, I would want to look at all my December 2020 leads that came in. I'd pull it by December 2020. Then I'd check and see, did these convert? Did I follow up with these? Maybe they came in December 2020 and I had a really bad month of follow-up or a bad ISA or a team member leave and they never got followed. So I just know I need to follow up with my December 2020. I also know that in 3 months, I want to follow up with my December 2020. So now it's January, February, March. I need to go look back 3 months ago. So I need to pull it by December 2020. And if I just put 2020, then it's not specific enough. But I also want to put 2020 because next year in 2022, I want to go back to every lead that I talked to in 2 years ago. So yeah, yes, the answer is yes, and yes, and yes. And then you'll figure that out as you go along, is how do you normally interact with your leads. And again, if you're not really using your CRM that much, then this doesn't matter. But if you get these conventions down when you're newer and you like are just really comfortable with it, it just becomes automatic. And then when you're doing squeeze pages, which we're going to do in a few minutes, you can make these tags attach to them automatically whenever they come in from that lead source. So you're setting it up so that it comes in automatically tagged.
Can you show us how you're actually going to use this
Yeah.
filter?
Sure. So I'm going to update the tags. And see how they're all over here on the left, down here? Pull it up. I can just exit. Are you sure? Yes. Okay. And then I can just add it again if I wanted to with this plus sign. Okay. Let me show you an example of this. This is the one place where you do actually have to put the hashtag first. Okay, these are all the leads that end up coming in hashtagged with Carrie. What if I want to select all of these and add a task? Send Carrie listings. Right? Does that make sense? What I can do whatever I want with those leads. Or here's where it starts to make more sense. We get into listings. And I have a Carrie listing. And I'm going to email to a hashtag. And it's going to pull up those 6 leads, right? If I had something in Lockmere, I'd send only to Lockmere, right? Or I might send to Carrie. I mean, I don't know what you would do, but the point being, the more specific you can be, the more quickly you can send appropriate things to the appropriate people. That's what hashtags is for. So it'll take a minute and some strategy sessions to figure out how to do your hashtags. You should probably always hashtag by city. Now, here's the thing you need to figure out too. Are you doing Carrie or are you doing Carrie NC? Doesn't matter, but you have to figure it out, because if you start doing Carrie, and then you start doing Apex NC, and you're like, why can't I pull up any Apex ones? Because you're trying to type in Apex, but you put it in as Apex NC, it's not going to pull those leads up. So just know how you like to do that. Let me just check the chat real quick. Okay, so somebody was asking, Missy was asking, where do you input your hashtags? You put them into leads. There's nowhere in the system that you can say, these are my hashtags. This is one major downfall of KvCore, which hopefully they'll fix soon. There's no tab that says my hashtags. That would be great if you could filter it down to just your own, but they don't have that yet. So you just would add them, individually to leads, or you do them in mass actions through the smart CRM, which we showed you guys earlier. If a whole bunch of leads come in through Sphere, and Oh, sphere and carry. Let me see. Remember, see, it had that thing that I was looking for before. A lot of times when you're doing that, you forget. So I'm going to select all, and then I'm going to add hashtags. Does that make sense? I'm not going to do it, but that's where you would do that if they came in through Zillow or like a lead Dropbox or something came in because we mass imported them. And that can be a campaign too. When lead comes in as new, hashtag as. Like there's ways to do that through the system so you're not manually having to do that every single time. So, so remember, I'm going to clear my filters. All right, going back to leads. And remember, you can look at your timeline, go back. This is just like a timeline on social media. All the things that have happened to this lead since day one. What emails have been sent, what they've opened. Okay. All right. That's the left side. The right side is pretty self-explanatory, you know, doing the call from there, sending an email from there, sending a text, adding a note. This one thing I do want to try, I'm just write the test lead for 129 training. I'm going to pin this to the top so that when I come into my timeline, it's always at the very top. Gotta move you guys out of the way. See my note up here? So those are your notes for yourself or for your team people or whoever's going to be checking out those leads if they're not going to be you. Notes are super important. Voicemail drop, that's that slide dial. This is an individual voicemail drop. Core video. Core concierge is an add-on where you can pay people to follow up with your leads. There's a more actions button down here. This is where you can share the contact, transfer the lead. I don't think the transfer ownership is right here. I think that's on the mass actions. Merge a contact if you have two contacts that are the same, but somehow they got in there separately. Unsubscribe from emails, unsubscribe from text, turn off behavioral alerts, which we'll get to them. That's the stuff that KvCore does for you automatically based on their activity. So the more that they interact with your website, the more KvCore knows about them, and the more it's going to just start automatically sending them things on your behalf. So that's good, but sometimes you want to turn that off. Archive the lead, delete it, sync it with the Google contacts, rerun the lead through distribution, export the contact data, delete the contact data, find them on Facebook. Let's see if you can find me on Facebook. If you can't find me on Facebook, I don't know what you're doing. Okay, so yeah, so it basically just creates a search in Facebook. Google, LinkedIn, people, Spokio, etc. Okay, and then you can see all tasks, and then here's where you add a task. I don't know yet. I'm gonna find out about adding mass tasks. Would you do it in like by searching the filters in the CRM, the smart CRM, and add tasks to all of them? But the question that Dana was asking about creating a task for yourself, I don't know that you can do it without it being attached to a lead, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so transactions is a add-on in KvCore. I don't think it comes with it. Yeah, it's like if you wanted to manage your transactions and the steps like Trello board kind of within KvCore. Not required. It's an add-on if you want it, but that's where I would find it for that particular lead. Okay, so does that make sense how the leads work, like the lead tabs? I know it's like overkill, but it's important to understand what happens to a lead before you start generating leads so that you're able to mark it correctly and tag them correctly. Okay. Can you add tasks on calendar and sync to the Google Calendar? Can you edit the market report email that gets sent out? Yeah, like depends on what you want to edit about it. I mean, you can edit the area, but I don't think you can actually manually edit. I think if you wanted to do that, you'd have to like just create your own newsletter. No, I don't think. Yeah. Okay. So eyes crossed. That's the CRM. Okay. Which most people don't care about. They're like, I don't know. How do I generate leads? Like, but if you don't understand how the CRM works, a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about with generating leads doesn't make sense either. Okay. So I'm going to skip over marketing autopilot right now, which is the campaigns, and go directly to lead engine. because that's, well, sorry, we got to go to listings real quick. This is fast, I promise. If the internet will go as fast as my brain. Okay, so here's again, we have ways to filter. You can filter by all listings, only your own listings, or only your agency's listings. Most likely you're going to want to do agency listings. In our Freedom Builders group, pretty much everyone has given everyone else permission to share their listings, which is great. You don't have to ask, but you should definitely still put listed by, like give them credit as the listing agent. You can even go down specifically and pick a particular listing agent. Tina, there's a lot of Tinas apparently.
How would you filter Freedom Builders?
I don't know. You probably have to specifically type of, I just put agency listings. We don't really have offices like that, like with KvCore. You can do it by location, draw on a map, do it by price range, or just do it by our agency. And then, you know, you can, these little things here are filters, so you can click this and it'll filter by agent alphabetically. Either, you know, A to Z or Z to A. Okay. You can go by the list date. Wow. Hopefully, and this is only showing active, so these are listed in 2017. Probably land or commercial. Okay. So you probably want to most recently listed. You can do it by city if you wanted to, or you can just go by address. All right, so let's pick it by, let's just pick a listing, doesn't matter. I'm gonna go with, she's always got some good ones. So I click on the listing. And it pulls up, you know, all the information. Now this is pending. So you can't share a pending property or coming soon, only active. So just make sure you're paying attention to that stuff, because then you're going to go through all these efforts and then you're not be able to do anything with it. I'm sure there's a way to filter out.
Can you get another column and then maybe around the
status? Yeah. Just lazy to do that right now. Contingent. Probably everything's going to be like that. Right. No, it doesn't have it on there. Somebody give me an address of a listing that they have active. Somebody in this room has to have an active listing.
Yorktown. I don't know those.
Huh? Yeah.
200 Glen Bonnie, EONNIE.
That's sad. By the way, we have a room of 40 people and like 2 active listings. That's where we are in the world. Okay. So, notice this is brokerage activity until the KvCore network views. If you had a seller's property report, this is what it would show them, just FYI, just so you know what that looks like. The listing agent has a direct link. This is a direct link to where this property is listed on your website, because this is what we're using for lead generation, right? So the whole point of this is to put it out in the universe and say, wow, look at this really great listing. You should check it out on my website. And then within 2 clicks, you should give me all your contact information, right? That is the whole point of doing all of this. So you could copy this link. I'm going to go ahead and tell you to always check to make sure it works before you put it out in the universe. I keep getting texted. about myself going on the website. Okay, but eventually it's going to stop sending it to me. So that's what it looks like, but then it has my information here, right? Because that's what I want my leads to see. So I would go to my business page. Maybe. All y'all are using up my internet. Oh my Lord. I would go here to create post. I would paste that link. You see, this is going to come up with a preview of that image of that property. Once that image is there, I don't need this link anymore. So I'm going to say, check out this awesome new listing in Cary. I know. I keep on doing it under Pam. She keeps on getting leads. Hang on a second. I'm gonna need that 25% referral. Okay. And then okay. Last time we did this under Pam, and then we did micro reports to me, and I'm like, thank you so much, Pam, for this micro report. I keep on getting emails about it. Okay. I can't unsubscribe though because I might need something in the future. All right. And then you would just post right into your business page. This is not going to do anything for you. This is not where you're going to get the leads from, but this is where you start from. And the reason that you do it from your business page is because then you can keep track of the views and shares and your reach and all that stuff, which you then have a dashboard that you can show to sellers about your digital reach. Multi-purpose here, okay? So I would post. You can schedule the post too. There's scheduling. If you don't know how to schedule posts, just Google how to schedule posts on business page. You could create an ad around this by going into your ads, and that's a whole different conversation, but you don't need to. So the strategy here for any type of squeeze page is called a squeeze page because basically you're squeezing the lead. Once they click onto your website, you're going to squeeze them for information, make them an offer you can't refuse, okay? So that's what a squeeze page is. It's called a single property squeeze page because I'm advertising a single property, which we're going to get to in a second. So the best practices here would be to get organic traffic on your business page first, which means have a group of real estate agents who you know, love, and trust, or your friends who will never buy from you because they live in another state, but you want them to help you build your business. Hey, go check out my business page and click like on that. Make a comment. Get some organic traffic to beat the algorithm. And then you're going to see this little guy down here with the circle with your face on it. You're going to click that drop down screen. And you're going to interact as yourself, your personal page. And you're going to share from your business page to your personal page. You want to include the original post, say something, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Wow, it's so hard to find inventory these days. Check out this Cary property. Then
Sorry, I lost you.
it's all right. Watch the recording. No, seriously, you're going to have to watch this several times. Like, this is the important part because people ask me about this all the time, especially you have to change the drop down to share as your personal. This is very, very important. When you share to group pages, do not share from your business page. The algorithm doesn't like it. It's never going to show up. It only prioritizes posts from people. So when I'm going to share to business pages, from here, I'm still going to wait until I have some comments and some likes. Okay.
Won't allow you to share from your
Business page, right? But now that some are, so you need to be careful when you're joining a group, a local group. Make sure you're joining as your personal. Alyssa, I don't know if she's on here, but we had this issue kind of last week. We were trying to share, and then you're going to share to a group. And I'm going to say something about this. I got lots to check out. I'm not being creative here, okay? In Cary. Now, what kind of groups do you think I should post something about a property in Cary?
Your mom's.
Nope, you can't send anything there. So be very careful, you get kicked out. So this is very important for you to do, is to spend, or have your assistant spend, or somebody spend some time. It might take a day. Research all the groups. Some of them you can only post on Tuesdays. You know, Wednesdays we wear pink or whatever. Okay, so like you have to know which ones will allow you. I just know what's Raleigh. Yeah, you know, I'm not a buy-sell trade person in general, so I don't really know how those work, but I do see Raleigh community information. Okay, right. So sometimes if Facebook is working correctly, they'll just let you share. Okay, sometimes they just only let you share to one, and then you got to go back and hit share again. And that's why I always copy this little thingy here before I hit share, just in case. See what kind of mood they're in today. And then what you can do is just, you have to say something here. Please do not just hit share with no comments. No one's going to see it. Now, understand that people may not like or comment all the time, but they still see it. This is marketing versus lead generation, okay? There's also this idea of passive marketing, top of mind mentality. Other real estate agents see you posting all the time, especially for agent attraction stuff. I'm like, wow, you're really active. Okay, I'm sharing from KvCore. All right. Now, when I go back to my business page, again, this is not really working very well because I'm not allowing time. This should be a one-day operation. This should be hours in between each of these shares. You should be posting to your business page, let it sit there for 4 to 5 hours and get comments on it. Then share to your personal page, wait 4 to 5 hours or even overnight, and then share to group pages. So if you're going to be doing this for open houses, like, who was it? Oh, nice. I didn't even have to pay someone. No, I'm kidding. So, but you see how I can tell I've got 4 engagements. I haven't had 4 likes on it, but I've had 4 engagements. So what does that mean? Somebody stopped long enough to look at it. Now, after a day or two, then I'm going to boost it for $5. Then I'm going to get hundreds of leads from it for $5 because I already had organic. Because when you boost, it boosted everywhere you share. That's why sharing is so important. Sharing is caring, okay? So there's some strategy behind doing this. It's not just, oh, I have KvCore links and I just shared them out. Nothing is happening. Well, you still got to do it the right way, okay? So that's how you do the sharing piece, which I was not being facetious, but watching that over again, because usually that's where that trick comes in, is when you're sharing as your personal versus your business page. So you can also send via email. Remember what it looked like. It has, I think you may like this listing. Do you see these little fancy colon things? Don't delete those. That's some code that's telling them to put the link in this area. But you can type around that or edit this other wording, but just don't take out that part, okay? You can, yes,
Wait,
close.
so go back again.
Mhm.
So if you share that, it's gonna show property link, or do you have?
This is
to-
an email. Yeah, so it's gonna send it to me.
Okay, just like it is.
Yeah, I'll show you what it looks like. It's not great. Oh, it's got to have a subject line. Okay, and I'll show you in a second because I'll give it a minute. Send via text. It's not gonna let me do it. It's discontinued texting to me.
Another word of advice: if you have a business page, well, you should get a second admin in your page, because sometimes steal it from you.
Ooh, good idea. There's also a whole different conversation about your ad accounts. Because if you get banned from an ad account and it's like your main ad account, like you can add sub ad accounts. This is a different conversation, but there's some things to protect you because this
Your page,
definitely
you
happens.
should have a couple admins in it.
You can email this to a hashtag, text to a hashtag, generate a QR code if you like that kind of thing. Print a flyer. So if you have an open house on this property, you can just print the flyer from here. I don't know that they're the best flyers, but they're fast and they're free. Free 99. Okay, I'll let that marinate. Boost the property. Okay, this is a specific thing within KvCore. They have what's called property boost, where it does it creates an ad for you. It doesn't go to your face, it creates an actual Facebook ad. You can have it just say, here's a listing, it'll say, oh, here's an open house, or just reduce. It changes the ad. Those are some different options. And then the destination will send it to your primary website. Just let them do their targeting. They're good at it. Compliance text. This is where I would put listed by, just in case, and then you have options for $45, $60, $120. This is the thing about Boost. You'll really only have limited options, but if you have the money for it and it's your property especially, you will get good leads from it. I mean, you will get leads for sure. These type of leads are just like any internet leads. Some of them are gold. Some of them you'll have to follow up with for 2 years before they convert. But whatever, for $45. Now, could I get the same results by doing this on Facebook for $5? Yes, but it's going to take me more time and energy and effort on my part. And that is just the way things go. It's either money or effort. You're either going to spend the money or you're going to do the work yourself, right? So maybe do a combo. Like maybe if it's your particular listing and you want to boost it because this is your listing, or if you have a listing in an area that don't normally work, do you really want to boost it and get a whole bunch of leads in the area? Maybe you have a good referral partner, right? So like these are all sales and business strategies. This is just a tool to help you get there. So then you would choose this and pay for it, etc.
If you're not tech savvy, this will be your friend.
Yes. If you're like, I don't know, I just want leads, I'm going to pay for them. Great, do that. Yes, and then you can literally post to Facebook. It's just going to take you to your personal page. It just did that thing where I copied the link and it just did it for me, right? But that's my personal page, not my business page, which is fine too, if that's how you want to do it. Here's what the flyer looks like. Maybe if we can get it going. See, it looks kind of sometimes it's a little weird, but whatever. You could use that if you want to. That's how you print a flyer from KvCore.
Can you change what picture is shown first, or does it have to be that first?
I don't think with this you can. I think it's just auto generates. Yeah, I don't think you can. Post to Twitter, post to Pinterest. Pinterest is highly underutilized for real estate agents. Pinterest is where people go when they're thinking of buying something. They're in the purchasing process. That's where you want to get most people, right? Like these are Pinterest, different conversation. Post to Craigslist. You have to download like a Craigslist login here, and it does it for you. This is all like a little add-on. Okay. Here's the thing. It doesn't have the listing agent here. Make sure that you add the listing agent. Don't try and act like this is your listing. That's a big no-no, right? So you're going to edit the post and publish. When you do that for the first time, it's going to walk you through. I think you have to use Chrome though. I don't think you can use the other ones. So that's the listings page. If you have your listing or a particular listing that you want to market, go to the listing and it has all the options on there. All right, getting into lead engine. This is actually going to go fast now that you understand the whole process of how to boost properties, okay? Landing pages is that's another conversation. Newer agents are probably not going to use landing pages as much. If you're a more established agent and you have created some kind of document like 5 steps to decluttering the home, or 5 steps to prepare for listing, or things to walk out, like or a FSBO guide, or something that you want to give them a deliverable. Well, there's a different one for that, but this one is where they're going to enter information. I will email you this PDF. So there has to be some PDF that you're sending to them. It's like a giveaway or you don't want them to have to go to your website and find the thing. A landing page does not take them, it actually is your website, but it's like a hidden part of your website. Let me just show you real quick. Cool thing is it's pretty customizable. Okay, they have several different options of how this page will look.
Hi, my name is Jim Cavoto. I'm the owner and managing broker of Ion.
So you put your own video there, obviously, right? Like you can upload videos, you can video plus lead. Okay, again. And then you ask what kind of lead type that you're doing. Go to text lead, contact hijack. That's like if it's kind of like taking it off of Google, like somebody search and you just like hijack their contact. That's what that is. Okay. So all this, see the list now, see the list now. See, that's what these buttons say. Submit, get the list, get the tips, get the whatever. Okay. Every single one of these is changeable. Everything in here you can edit. Not the general format, but these things, these little whatever. Okay. Now beyond that, let's go to lead generation, and then you can change the background type. The only thing you can't change is this logo. I wish it was the black one. Can you?
If you had like a team logo, you can have that change.
Let's change that. Okay. So not here. You have to go through KvCore and conversion. But anyway, so then you hashtags. This is where you add hashtags, which means that leads come in from this will automatically have these hashtags added to them. Right now that you understand hashtags, this makes sense, right? For this particular campaign, create a hashtag. This is how you change the wording on the submit buttons. Right now it says see list now, and you can change it to get the list. And it changes it here. Okay. This URL after login. So if you have a PDF that you want them to get, store it in a Google Drive, put the link to that Google Drive here, make sure it's shareable that anyone on the internet can view, not edit. And that's where you would put that here so that after they click get the list, it just opens it in a new tab to that link to that PDF thing, okay? If not, then once you get the lead in, you'll have to manually send it or have a campaign set up with that trigger to send an email with it as an attachment, okay? This, I would require the phone number if you want to. This is how, you know, because if you don't do that, phone number is optional. You see how cell phone, if I don't do that, it says optional. Okay. Now, once you've done all of this, you hit save. Once you've done that, you're not going to be able to edit this again. So make sure it's correct. I'm going to hit OK. And then, so you see, it is on my website because that's how it captures the information and puts it in CRM. But it's this really weird URL at the end that no one's ever going to be able to find unless they're like typing it in. You can go to like a tiny URL and make your own like customized URL for it, or you can just leave it. It's fine. So let's go to business page again. I'm not going to publish this because it's not a complete page, right? So no, that's not what I want to do. And it pulls up the landing page, right? So no one's going to see this little link anymore because we're going to replace this with words. So it doesn't really matter. Don't kill yourself trying to create, unless you're putting it on marketing materials and you want them to type on something. So anyways, it takes them to that landing page. And then here's your marketing about that landing page, enter your email and phone number, and then get the list, right? So that's a landing page. You're not going to use that much. So I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on that, but just so you understand what it's for. Really where you're going to live right here is going to be in your IDX squeeze pages. So you have 4 different options for squeeze pages. What we did before in the listings tab is a single property squeeze page. And it's just like that. You pick an MLS number, you pick a listing that you want to market for whether it's yours or somebody else's. You put the MLS number in here, and then you just create a squeeze page and share it like we showed you. Now, a multi-property squeeze page is an MLS search, basically. That's the easiest way to, it's kind of like setting up those alerts that we saw earlier. The cool thing about these links is that they're always current. So if I'm looking for open houses in Cary and I click on this link 6 months from now, it will show me the current open houses in Cary. So that's really cool because you could set that up on a recurring scheduled basis in your Facebook page for every Thursday. Right? So you do the link one time, you'll just have to, schedule, you have to, create post, schedule it 12 times or 52 times or whatever you're going to do, but then you don't have to keep on creating the link again, which is why it's so important to have this Excel sheet open and talk about when you created the squeeze page, what type is it, multi-property, single property, what was the source, like where are you, this was for a little text thing that I did for a specific listing. What hashtags that I put it on under. And then here's the links that I created. I could click on this link right now and it would be, except for not for a single property. Because remember, single property you can only do if it's active. Does that make sense? Like still keep it for yourself while you're doing that campaign for that particular property, but once it's not active anymore, it's not going to work. So there's no place on your website to go find it anymore because your website will only show active properties. But for squeeze pages, multi-property squeeze pages, so there's still here, right? This is, I made this a year ago, over a year ago. So that's what you want to think of as how to use the squeeze pages, what would you use them for? So again, you're going to find an area. So I know I asked you guys to write this down somewhere, right? Did anybody do this in the worksheet? Who's the SCs in the room? So give me an area that we want to do a squeeze page. Okay, listing type. Coming soon, single family, townhouse.
Single family.
I wouldn't put styles in here, again, because you're counting on people to do that correctly. Price point?
400.
Minimum or a maximum? To,
Do you have to put a max?
you have to put something, yeah.
2 million.
We like that number. Do we want to limit by square footage? No. Beds and baths? Do we want options like just listed, open house, homes with a pool, anything like that? 3-car garage? Do we want to narrow it or you just want all properties?
See 'em all.
Source? Most likely going to be, we're going to put it on Facebook, right? Hashtag. What kind of hashtags do we use for this?
Holly Springs. 4-2, whatever.
Probably 400 plus, right? Since we didn't really have a limit to it, right? Or you could put SF. Not if you're in San Francisco, but if you're here in North Carolina, you can say SF. Whatever you want to do. Buyer. Whatever, doesn't matter. I'm not gonna use it. This is a big thing here where it says Facebook cover photo. Basically, it's telling the link that when it shows up with that preview photo on your business page, what kind of picture should it pick? Should it pick listings actually from the search results? Should it be recent listings from the agency, even if they don't fit the search results? I don't like that one because you don't know what they're gonna pull up. Low price listings from your agency, probably if you were doing a fixer-upper squeeze page, that would make sense, or just reduced or something like that. And then, or high price listings. I generally pick this one because I want people to click on the picture, right? I want it to be something that's like, ooh, this is a house in Holly Springs. Well, not really, but just click on the picture. Okay, you'll get the houses. And then property views allowed before registration, which is what someone was asking earlier. Like the default is 2. Some people do immediate. I mean, I think that's kind of harsh. You know, you can change it to never. If you have a seller maybe, and you want them to be able to get on your website kind of, but I still wouldn't do that probably. And then you generate the links. So again, once I click off of this page in the future, none of this information is saved anywhere. So I need to make sure I'm putting this in my spreadsheet before I move on. Again, you always want to, I'm going to copy the clipboard and I'm going to check to make sure it works first, right? Just in case, maybe there's no listings. Maybe it doesn't make any sense to do that link. We're fine with this one. Okay, so that one worked. Again, go to Facebook, post it, share it, boost it, all that kind of stuff.
So when we schedule the post, can we schedule recurring posting?
I don't think you can do recurring. They used to have recurring. I don't think they have recurring anymore. I think you have to just schedule for the future, schedule again for the future. It may take you just a few minutes to do it, but yeah, I know they used to have a button that you could pick. But there is a way. I mean, if you really want to get techie and dorky about it, you could set it up on your calendar as recurring. And there's a Zapier link that you can, you can Zapier it to like happen every Thursday. I mean, that's like people are like, okay, just show me a squeeze page. But there is some cool stuff you can do. So again, multi-property. Wait till this preview shows up. Okay, if you don't wait till the preview shows up, then it's not going to work. It's not going to be a link. And then you would say Holly Springs, whatever, blah, blah. And then you would go to post scheduling is available in publishing tools for people who want to schedule it out. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm on.
Okay, hi.
So maybe you can do the whole month.
Yeah, you can.
Postings
Yeah,
for the whole
right.
month.
If you do it on a Sunday and those are your social media days or whatever, and it's just like you're in your pajamas and this is my one day I want to talk to people. Like I'm not feeling the talking today, but I'm gonna work on my social. Yes. So you could do a whole bunch of these. So now go to the seller squeeze. And we're gonna put Facebook again. Hashtag seller, because the other was buyer, right? Let's do Holly Springs. I wonder if we can do Old Oaks. Yeah. Like most hashtags, you can have spaces in between, right? Okay. Check and make sure it works. The average price in 12 Oaks is $488,000. What's yours worth? This is a seller squeeze page. This is for people asking for a CMA. This is a question that you have.
Okay, do that one again, please. Because I usually do it with a landing page, but I
Yeah, this is so much easier.
I know.
Yeah. So here's what it looks like when you post it on Facebook. I'm going to delete this.
Why would you do this instead of the previous thing that we were looking at, which was the sharing the listing?
So the sharing the listing was for buyers looking at that listing.
Okay.
This is for people who live in 12 Oaks that want to know what their home is worth. This is a seller lead. Okay, so I'm gonna great. So when you're thinking of where you would share this to, I'd be way more specific.
Right.
People who live in 12 Oaks, right? Like, I mean, somehow you got to find people who live in 12 Oaks. Most likely going to be the Apex, Holly Springs, those types of, or next door. I don't know if there's a way to do it for next door. So you see how this is what it looks like, and it's so cheesy. It's so cheesy, but people click on it. It works, especially if you're going to boost stuff and you really want seller leads. This is what I would do. And you can do it by neighborhood, by zip code, by city, by whatever. So that's what a seller squeeze page, that's what it looks like. And then we're going to go to, you see where it says instant market report? It is not a market report, it's a CMA. I don't know why it says that right there. Liars. Because it's view our instant market report, including comparables. Does anybody have a 12 Oaks address they want to look at? Off the top of their head. Any address. Give me an address. Let me give you an address.
An address in 12 Oaks?
No, just any address. It doesn't have to be in 12 Oaks. Like if somebody clicks on this and they don't live in 12 Oaks, it still would be just any, like any listing that, what was the listing that you had, Mike? 200.
845 Rambling Oaks.
Too late. My gosh. It's waiting. The internet's slow. Internet.
When I go and do the, copy that link, after I do that through the landing page, and then I go and check it out, it always reverts back to just the exprealty.com, and then it's just kind of like a generic thing.
No.
I did it yesterday, but it will send you an alert in your KvCore of what the value is.
Okay.
You could follow up with that client.
Oh, once they just put it in here.
Do you see where it says CMA report generated? It's asking them, do they want to download it right now? Do they want it to be emailed to them, texted to them, or just view the comparables?
Either way, they're gonna let you know that somebody did it.
Yeah, the lead is, I'll show you. So it has your little picture there. This is from, I think, the cover photos that I have on my website. So yours might look different than this. But then but see, the thing about this, it says 0 bedrooms. Clearly doesn't have 0 bedrooms, right? So I don't think this is like the best, but for getting leads, it's like something.
Which one was that? The
Glen Bonnie.
The market, was that the market?
No, this is the seller squeeze page. This is what it looks like through that process.
And Charity, how did you then capture their contact?
Oh, it's because they entered it to be able to get they put their address.
But you don't have a phone number.
I'm already logged in. If I wasn't logged in as
you.
me, it would ask for that too. Yeah. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes they just get that. I think they have to do email or text maybe to give you their, but at least you have their address. Most people are going to be looking. So you can go into Vulcan or Mojo and skip trace them and find their phone number if you really have to go that far with it. But at least we know that particular address is looking at what their home is worth.
Or what if you're farming a specific neighborhood, you can just print this out and mail it out.
No, the best thing to do is for you to do a text code, right? Like text blah, 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 to get a free market report. And then that takes them to, once you send a text code, it sends them back this link to click on. So that's what text codes can do. Yes.
Right, but then you need the text, the phone number of every person in the neighborhood.
No. You make a little postcard and you mail it out and say, send a text to this blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Okay, how do I do this?
And we'll get there. Okay. So there's so many things, seriously. And then market report is like that market report that we saw in the alerts. Remember, like we were showing. So I don't need to do that again, but this is basically that. You just create a market report. I don't know that that's really a lead generating thing. Maybe, I mean, if you're going to Apex Carry Moms, which you can't do, but if you're going to post in that area, like who wants a market report for Apex? But that's how you do it. You just pick the area, put the source, the hashtags, and create the link. So you guys are familiar now with how to do these things. The most important thing, keep track of what you've created, okay? Going back to lead engine, text codes, very important. This is like if you're going to pay for Making It Rain, which is a program within KvCore. You pay about $250 a month, minimum of 3 months. They do like Facebook ads and stuff for you. You do get leads from them. A lot of them are just super follow-up. Sometimes you don't have phone number. It's just like it does it for you. So if you want to try it and you have great campaigns and follow up, it's a good way to get stuff. Somebody asked, how do you drop leads into your KvCore? This is where lead Dropbox. You click on this and it's gonna show you how to do it.
That's an add-on as well.
No, lead Dropbox isn't. Bulk import is you're going to import like by CSV. Call capture, CMA builder is like what we just saw. Like you can just create a CMA manually instead of going through like this, doing this whole process. Millions Mapped is the app that we have. This is the property boost, which was when we went to listings and clicked property boost, you could just do it from right here instead. I don't know why you would find it deep in this lead engine, but if you wanted to just do, you can do property boost for properties outside of your area. That is the one that you don't have to be in your own MLS. So if you have partners, for example, I have 2 agent partners in Florida and I wanted to pay for some leads for them, or if I was doing an agent attraction situation where like there was an agent in another market and I'm like, look, how can I partner? Or you just want to really bump up your referral, income. If you are a stay-at-home mom and you don't really want to take on property, and you just want to get referral income, that's a way that you can do boosting properties. There's a virtual open house, and then we have an open house app, which is an entire different conversation as well, but you can download it. It's pretty intuitive. I don't like the open house app. I do mine on paper because they're all in individual clipboards. In general, I find that people don't, because if one person stops entering information, everybody else follows suit, right? But a lot of people like the app because then it goes right into your CRM, and a lot of people say that they're more accurate on an app. There is some research that when someone enters information on an app, they tend to be more truthful than if it was just written on pen and paper. I don't know if that's true. That's the studies that they found.
Can I add one more little thing?
Yeah. Yes.
It automatically sets you up on a search alert based around the house that you're standing in.
So for the people on the computer who didn't hear that, it automatically sets them on a search alert based on the house that they registered for the open house with. So that's positive, right? Okay. And then I'm sure there's a hashtag you set up when you set up the open house app that basically when they go in your CRM, they're already tagged with a hashtag. So if you wanted to send, like a thank you email or video to them after the open house, you can just choose by that hashtag. So there is some good things with that, but you can do it manually. Just depends on what you want to do. Call capture, it's kind of a weird name for it, but these are the text codes. My personal text code is Charity M. So if for some reason I was just randomly telling people to text Charity M to my smart number, it would go into my smartphone. I don't do that. This is where you do, just so you know what it is, but this is the one I paid for. There is, if you see this right here, 4362060, that's the triangle one. Everyone should probably have the same one. This was before I paid for my personal number. They still work on my signs, my listings that have my writers. They still have this phone number because remember, I'm creating the text code, which KvCore knows that it's my leads. So it's fine to use the general smart number for text codes, because when you're creating the text code, then the CRM knows to put it into you, under you. So you create a new text code and you create a custom code. MLS ID is optional. What this means is if somebody texts to this text code, immediately they will get back that single property squeeze page with that particular link to that property, whatever one you put in here, okay? Or if you want to do a custom reply message, which you can edit, like I have the same text code, it says text virtual to blah, 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 blah. When it's coming soon, it has one message. Once it goes active, I change the message. Once it goes into contract, I change the message, but my sign is the same on the listing the entire time. So, and then you add a hashtag here. So you determine what hashtag it comes in under these leads. And then you pick a smart number. Obviously I have 2 to choose from, which is the general one and my one I purchased. So I go to,
So this will be to do the text for the postcards, probably.
Sure.
You could do that?
Yep.
Because you can get the link
So
that
I
you got
put,
on the
yes,
seller.
in my open house, in my little, that gift card that I gave to them, I have a little piece of paper that says text free CMA to 436-2060. It's just on a piece of paper. I'm not going to put a URL, type in this charity.missoudi.exprealty.com/blah, blah. That doesn't make sense. So I'm going to do a text code, but it's easy for people to do. So if you were just going to put a flyer in the coffee shop, or you were going to send a mailing for farming, like you would use text codes for that. That's easier for people. And people are less skeeved out by sending a text than they are by clicking on some random link that they might see somewhere, right? Okay. So, and you can do text codes on Instagram. Right? You can't do links on Instagram, but you could do text codes. Instagram still doesn't prioritize pictures with a whole bunch of numbers on it. But if you had a picture and then in the comments you had a text code, I don't know how well that works. It's not really how Instagram works, but it is possible if you're thinking about where to post these on social media. LinkedIn as well. But I think you can do links. I haven't done a squeeze page on LinkedIn. I wonder if it works. So this is what I do for my virtual, and I can go over here to edit. Custom code is virtual. I also, on the writer, it has virtual with the quotation marks. So I made another text code in case someone actually put the quotation marks in there. When it was active, I had the MLS ID in there. Okay. Now that it's under contract, I put thank you for your interest. The listing is under contract, but here are some other similar houses, which is the link to the multi-property squeeze page of homes that are similar to my listing, right? Because if they're looking at my listing, they're probably looking at that price point. Let me know if you'd like to visit any of them. I'd be happy to take you. And that just comes out to them automatically. Because I would keep on getting calls. I got a call from someone who's like, oh, I'm like, oh, it's under contract. He's like, for how long?
Which one?
I'm like, forever. What do you mean? Like I'm like, they're buying it. Like, I mean, he literally like, oh, it's just so I can keep an eye on it. I'm like, so anyway, and you can delete them, edit them. And so that was the hashtag old stage coming soon. So now if I go to my smart CRM.
You could change it once it changes status and then change the.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to, but it's going to be wrong information.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you say text virtual to whatever that phone number was, let's say you have 3 listings out. How does it know which listing to hit?
You would for your writers, you'd have to have a couple different writers.
So it couldn't just be text virtual.
No. Yeah, it would have to be different ones. Virtual 1, virtual 2, virtual 3. I mean, okay. You know, it's kind of like how your lock boxes are. They have to be different. Yeah. So I now all my old stage coming soon. 14 leads I got just from a text writer on my listing. Asked me if I followed up with any of them.
Yes.
It's a problem. It is a problem. Okay, so that's what lead engine is for. I mean, you can get really good leads with a call capture. I don't know why it's called call capture because it's not calls, it's texting, but there you go. Does that make sense how the texting thing works? It's really, really powerful. Somebody has a question. I don't understand how the text goes somewhere. So basically we're asking them to text our smart number. The system automatically sends them back a text with whatever we tell the system to send back to them. And basically when they text that smart number, it gets captured in your CRM as whatever hashtag you put in, it has their phone number. Sometimes it doesn't have their name, right? But it has their phone number. So it'll like no name with the phone number and the hashtag. So that's when you follow up with them after that. Okay. Web and IDX, this is, I'm not going to get into this because it's like super a lot, but you basically just click Web and IDX, go to site editor. If you wanted to change any of this stuff, don't. Go to here, edit settings. You can spend days on this. You can change your layout.
Is that for your personal website?
Just your EXP website. Yeah. You can add widgets, change the themes, just try it and then refresh the page and see what happens. Like you're not going to break it. See what the different things look like. See if you like it. If don't, change it back. You have these background images that you can put on a carousel, which basically means that every time someone goes back to the page, it's different. Upload your own image. If you have a secondary logo for your team, what have you, put it here. If you had a background video that you wanted to play, you can do that. It does drag your site though. It kind of takes some time to load. They have a chat with.
I'm sorry, you can actually pixelate your Facebook. So whenever somebody goes into your Facebook.
Yeah, so it can retarget. Yep. So you have, resources. It's asking if you want to hide these pages or show them, mandate the phone number. So here, this is your global settings. If you force a phone number here, then every lead has to give you a phone number no matter what you put in the squeeze pages. Do you want to do that? That's up to you. I mean, I think email can be fine too, especially if you're putting them on a drip campaign. We're not really doing anything. The system's doing it for you. So the forced lead registration, the normal is prompt registration after one property view. Website title, you can change that. The homepage meta description. So if you wanted to do some SEO stuff and you know what that means, here's the recruit text, which you can change as a custom header. This is where you put the Facebook pixel code, is what she was talking about, that allows Facebook to track people's visitors on your website. Definitely want to do that. Custom footers, conversion codes is the Google code. Chat widgets. Facebook ID for chat. You can find this in your Facebook business page. Just Google how to find my Facebook ID for chat. Testimonials. This is where you connect your Zillow reviews by putting your screen name in there. Zillow has not updated my license number for the past 2 years, so it doesn't work for me, and we all know what's happening with Zillow, but that's where you would do it. Custom navigation. Again, this stuff, you're probably not going to touch any of this stuff. Analytics, etc. But this is important here. This is really, 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 really important. I started getting land listings, and for some reason I could never get them to show up on my website. And I realized I didn't have land picked here. So it's like which listings will pull from the MLS. I don't want rentals. I could put pending and contingent here if I want, but I don't want to. Coverage, only show your counties. I said no, because if somebody's looking at my website in another city or state, I can always refer them out. I put people being able to search by neighborhood and sub area as an extra search option. So this is, again, and here's where you would do blogs. It's under Web and IDX. Maybe websites. Right here, blogs.
And those you can schedule ahead of time.
Yes. And you can also go to quick action and schedule blog posts from here. So you don't have to get all the way down to Web IDX, find the blogs, hit add blog. If you're a blogger, not everybody is, okay? Marketplace is extra add-ons that you can just pay for more things. Retargeting, core team add-on, Google pay-per-click, the smart number add-on if you want to pay your own, the property boost, again, there's multiple places you can find it. Handwritten postcards being sent on your behalf. API Nation integrations is where if you are going to integrate with Zapier or something like that, that's where you do it. WordPress plugin token. A lot of people have a WordPress website they're trying to connect. If you want someone to spruce up your website, Pam there's people that do it. Making it rain, which is that $250 a month. E-commission, I believe this is where you can get an advance on your commission. Google Sheets, Constant Contact, Facebook lead ads, MailChimp, Core Social. I mean, there's so many. This is the voicemail drop. This is the bombs in here, Core Video for groups. Anyways, you can go through here and just pay for things if you want to. I would honestly just get a hand. Here's the .loop. If you're using .lip and you want to keep on using .loop. And then the last page is the business analytics, which you went over. So the biggest thing that we didn't really cover was how to do follow-up campaigns. You would go here to Smart Campaigns and you click Start of Campaign.
There's a lead validation.
Yeah, well, no, all it does is explains it. You have to wait a second and it'll show up here. It says System Campaigns 23. Okay. These are all the campaigns that are currently in the system. All right. And here's your library. It'll be zero, there'll be nothing here when you first register. But if you want to add these default ones, you want to add to my library. Okay. Go back to my library, find the conversion default buyer and click on it. Right here, you see how the status is off? That means I have no active campaigns automatically going because I don't have them set up the way that I want to, and I don't want them just going out and looking crazy, okay? So if I go and I click on default buyer, and it's going to show me all of the steps of the campaign. Day one, there's an initial text that's sent from the agent to the contact. I want to preview what the text looks like. Hi, first name. Now, the problem is if the lead comes in as SM Bolton, because they didn't give you their name and it's just their email address, then you look kind of crazy, right? Okay. So you can edit this to like, hey, you know, hey friend, or hey, I forgot to add. Like you can edit to like more your actual personal talking style. I wanted to ask the other day after you visited our real estate website, how cheesy is this? Okay. Are you actively shopping for us? But whatever. I would certainly edit this. Day three, do you own a home locally from the agent to the contact? These are all things that are being sent on your behalf. So how you do it is you edit it. You can edit the name of the step. You can do a template or you can make your own. Click view this template. This is what it looks like. This is what's important for you guys to understand. Is it coming from the agent to the contact, or is it coming from the system to the agent? System to the agent means it's going to show up in your tasks to do. So I like this idea of creating a campaign of tasks so I can snooze that task if it's not appropriate. Does that make sense? Like if I've already talked, the problem with not using the KvCore smart number, if all of your communication is not through KvCore, how do they know to turn off the campaign if you already talked to them? You have to remember to get back in the CRM and turn off the campaign. So that's where a combination of tasks and automation can come in. You can also make new templates, because to create your own campaign, you have to create the templates first. Okay, I'm going to show you. This is a template. This is a template called Do You Own Locally? If I wanted, so I'm going to get out of this. You see right here where it says templates? Templates are, it's coming. They're sorted by email templates, text templates, call templates, task templates, webhooks, and voicemails. If I would like to add a template, I'd add a task. I make my own template name, initial follow-up. Okay, follow-up, call lead if they haven't responded. Okay. In a campaign, the next step can't happen until one step happens, right? So if I'm going to make a new campaign, start the campaign when the lead is new, when the lead is transferred, when the lead is moved to a hashtag. You can make your own triggers or have no triggers. Okay. Right now, I don't want to start a trigger. The campaign is designed for buyers. Campaign name follow-up. Always run no. Locked no, because I want to be able to edit in the future, right? So now I have to go in here. Notice that there's no actions. And I have to add an action. And I have to pick this template. Does that make sense? So you have to create that. It's a little backwards. You have to create the template first, which is why this is just a tool. You have to know what your follow-up campaigns are, right? You have to know how often you want to talk to them, how often you want to respond. What are the triggers? Do you want to do it when they first get the lead? Like, do you want an automatic text? Do you want to give yourself a task to call them first? You know, like you could have a campaign to set up another campaign, right? Like there's so many things you can do with campaigns, but the key is you have to think them through and write them out, do the templates first, and then add them into a campaign. So this is just a tool. So now you know how to do it, but actually sitting down and creating your own campaigns is tough. The best thing to do probably starting out is just go to the default ones and edit them initially, see how it goes, and then, you know, change things around once you're more comfortable.
Make sure that you add your name. Otherwise, they'll say, who is this?
Right. And there's a way that you can like add signature and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Where you would go to mass upload contacts. That would be under lead engine, bulk import. Okay. So you can let them do it for you, or you can do it yourself. Probably let them do it for you. It's free. But if you really just want to do it yourself. Now, one thing is if you wanted to have leads coming in from an email, this is lead Dropbox. There's Zapier Notes. This is your Zillow key. Some people are asking, like, how do I get leads coming from Zillow directly? And just use, this is the Zillow key that they're going to ask you for. And that's under lead engine, lead Dropbox. Bulk import is if you have a CSV or an export and you want to upload it in there. That's what bulk import is. Okay. All right, guys, that's a lot. It's a lot, but hopefully you have a better idea of how KvCore works at this point. Now it's a matter of just picking one or two things, really get the CRM demo, start doing squeeze pages. Then you can do more advanced stuff down the road, but that's free or $5 or whatever the case may be. And then figure out really how do you want to follow up with leads. Write that down somewhere, brainstorm with your partners, and then start building templates from there. Cool? Make sense? I don't even know if I have anybody on the chat anymore. Oh, I do have 18. Hi, guys. Hi. Okay, so I'm going to stop. Does anybody else have any questions I can go through again before I stop sharing? Or no? Good. I have one chat. Kathy, you're welcome. Hopefully that was helpful. Okay, so I'm going to stop and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.